Hello and welcome! This is Melskinner, and we're back with some more The Warlock of Firetop Mountain, continuing on with the Goblin Scourge DLC, where we are playing as Ophelia. And we have found two of these glass spheres that we suspect are of magical nature. And now we have a choice to, after we climb down from a hut, pocketing the strange spherical object, we can walk across a makeshift bridge to the larger hut, or ignore the larger hut and head east. Well, of course we're going to go to the larger hut. Tentatively, you walk across a makeshift bridge, the wooden planks creaking under your weight. That could have been a danger in and of itself. Suddenly, you hear a thwang as an arrow flies past your right ear. You look up to one of the windows and see a goblin archer fumbling to line up another arrow. Okay, we can attempt to climb up to the window, or we can make our escape back across the bridge. Let's go ahead and attempt to climb up the window. This might be bad. Hear another thwang, but this time the goblin has you within point-blank range. Ow. Thankfully, this goblin archer is a poor shot, and even with such a mighty advantage, the arrow only causes a minor wound. It's enough to make you fall backwards, though, and you clatter onto the deck. The goblin shrieks with laughter. Not wanting to be within any range of this creature, you make your way back across the bridge and decide to push on immediately. Okay, well, that was obviously a mistake, but that's okay. We learn from our mistakes, hopefully. Cautiously, you walk down the passage, passing another wooden hut set on stilts. As to your left, there is movement in the two windows, and suddenly you hear the thwang of bowstrings as arrows rain down upon you. You pick up pace and run forward down a step in the rocky path. All right, let's test our skill. We have very high skill though, so I'm expecting that we'll pass this, which we do. Okay, you have scored an 11 or under and rolled a score of 8. Or I'm sorry, we needed a score of 11 or under, and we rolled a score of 8. You easily dodge the arrows. Knowing that more arrows are likely to fly again soon, you quickly check your surroundings. You're standing on an outcrop of rocks that extend slightly away from the cave wall and have been following wow, okay, let me reread that. You are standing on an outcrop of rock that extends slightly away from the cave wall you have been following. Behind you is the hut on stilts, where you can hear the shrieks of goblin archers, and in the gloom ahead you see another hut built into the cave wall. Rough-hewn stone steps also lead upward. To your right, you can also see what looks to be the top of a ladder that extends down into the darkness and may lead down to the river bubbling below. Okay, you're suddenly alerted to a sound of the goblin archers climbing down from the hut. They now brandish small swords. Okay, so we really didn't have a way of avoiding them, it looks like. That's okay, though. I think we can take these guys. Especially as they appear not to have their bows anymore. Okay, we'll move here. So we know that this guy can hit me, so let's just move out of the way. I could have clashed with him instead, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and do the attack here. Boom, kill him. I don't really have a way to attack this guy where he is. Let's just do attack and stay where we are, because I suspect he's gonna move away from us. All right, just to be on the safe side, we are gonna attack like that. Okay, let's move here. Let's use our ethereal feint, even though we know he's gonna move towards us. All right, he can't hit us, so we're just gonna attack him back. Okay. What kind of cooldown does the ethereal feint have? 3? Okay. Move here. Okay, we're going to assume that he's going to move towards us, so we're going to do the blind side, move. And then we'll just clash with him, what the heck. There's always a chance we'll fail here, but I'd actually have to think about that, though. If he rolled an 11 plus the 5, that'd be 16. Yeah, he could beat us if we rolled really low. Okay, we are triumphant. We get our 9 souls. Last the goblins is slain. Checking their bodies, you find a few gold coins. Alright, that's good. We are racking up the money. What will you do now? So we can climb down the ladder or continue to head east. I want to continue heading east. I don't want to go down this ladder. We walk up some stone steps that have been crudely cut into the rocky path. Another goblin hut and hanging cage looms above you on your left. You can hear a whimpering, soft cry from the cage. Help me, please. Alright, so we can examine the hut, or we can investigate the cage. I think we examine the hut first. This hut is much like the rest, built in the side of the cave wall. You do not see any signs of life coming from within. At least I don't need to dodge those horrible goblin arrows again. Alright, so let's climb through one of the windows. Clamber up the side of the hut easily and poke your head through the highest window. Inside you can see a small room filled with goblin detritus and worse. A number of broken arrows and are also scattered around. There's nothing else of interest. Let's investigate the cage. Looking up, the cage appears to be occupied by a small humanoid form. A large metal rod hangs from a rope that appears to be connected to a pulley system above the cage. So we can pull the rope. We can try and work out the pulley mechanism, or we can continue up the steps. Well, we're educated. I'm hoping that we'd be able to try and work out this pulley mechanism. Swaying the rope left to right and making small tugs, you try to work out the mechanism to release the cage. With a little thought, you manage to work out that if you pull the rope backwards and give it a tug while still holding the rope, you will release a catch above, which enables you to slowly lower the cage to the rocky floor. Inside, you can see a gnome, dressed only in a loincloth and covered in dirt and blood. He looks at you with weary eyes and reaches out his hand. "Please set me free," he says. Let's question the gnome, though. You ask the gnome who he is and why he was imprisoned by the goblins. "I was a day out of Anvil and got ambushed by some goblins," he says. "I think I was thrown into a river I was following." The gnome looks up to you, completely dejected. "Can you please release me?" "Yeah, of course we will." Open the cage. You easily smash the lock from the cage door using the hilt of your weapon. The door creaks open, and the gnome tentatively gets up and steps forward to freedom. You're about to suggest checking the gnome's wounds when he suddenly darts forward, running back down the tunnel towards the entrance. "Hey, where do you think you're going? It's dangerous." No, we're not going to chase the gnome. That's stupid. Let's just leave the gnome and continue east up the steps. Okay. You reach a ladder and a path leads to your right, or we can climb the ladder. Now the path, I can't really tell where it goes. I'm going to climb the ladder because I don't like the look of this. It could just be it doesn't go anywhere, although it might go somewhere we can't see yet. So let's climb the ladder. Climb the ladder as quietly as possible. You peer over the top of the platform and you can see a large orc asleep on a chair. He's sitting next to another goblin hut that has a small doorway leading into a darkened room. You carefully pull yourself over the edge and get to your feet. The orc continues to snore loudly, and you notice another hanging cage to your left. Something appears imprisoned within. "I'm feeling feverish again. Not sure I have the strength to pick a fight." "Oh, hello." It's I'm gonna go ahead and wake the orc, though. Poke the orc with your weapon, it suddenly wakes, startled, grabbing the hilt of its sword, and a reflex action. "Whoa! What's that meaning?" it shouts, jumping to its feet. Ask the orc where Zagor can be found, or just attack the orc. Let's just attack the... Well, okay, let's ask. The orc looks at you suspiciously and says, "Zagor, eh? Horrible fellow, dat one. Runs the mountain. No time to chat. This horrible goblins don't want guests, so guess that means you have to die." The orc raises a large serrated blade above its head and approaches you. Alright, let's fight the orc. He's a polite sort, though. Okay, so he's probably going to move right there. Let's hit him. I think he queued an attack. Let's just hit him again. Okay, he's going to move away from us. Let's move here. Go ahead and hit him with our ethereal feint. Let's go ahead and use our blindside attack. Not exactly sure which way we'll dodge, but I have a feeling that we'll dodge in a way that puts us in a good position to... I was about to say kill him, but looks like we're not going to kill him, but he has 1 hit point left, probably, so there we go. Okay, so we are victorious. We have defeated the orc. The reason I did that is because I want to search around here. The orc slumps to the floor and a pool of blood. Now that the guard has been taken care of, you can easily explore this area. So we can search the goblin hut, or we can examine the cage. Let's search the goblin hut first. You need to crawl on your hands and knees to get through the doorway. On entering the dark space, you wave your lantern around to see a mess of objects strewn around the room. You rummage around through bones, broken arrows, and goblin waste to find a few coins, a carved wooden dagger, and a small wooden box with a silver lid. Alright, 3 gold pieces. Leave the box in the hut and examine the cage instead. Alright, let's open the wooden box with the silver lid. The little force, the silver lid creaks open on nail hinges. Inside you find a fine brown powder that has a disgusting aroma. This stuff smells disgusting. What is it, I wonder? Okay, well, let's take the box from the hut and examine the cage instead. Yeah, let's take the box from the hut and examine the cage. Just as you're about to leave, 2 large creatures jump out of the shadows. You try desperately to back out of the hut before they reach you. Now, our skill has taken a big hit here, so this is actually going to be a harder roll now. Please succeed. Yeah, there we go. All right, you escaped the hut and the rats. Good. Being able to stand gives you a much better advantage against these disgusting creatures. You draw your weapon, and we have to fight some giant rats. Giant rats, we've seen, are pretty difficult, but as long as you know the rules that they play by, they're not too bad. So, I'm just going to assume that it's going to move towards me, so I'm going to use my ethereal feint here. And then I'm just going to attack it straight on. Because I know that it can't do anything about it. Unfortunately, we already used the ethereal feint, so I'm just going to move with it. Okay, now we're in trouble, so I'm going to move away. Okay, we don't have the ethereal feint just yet. We could move here, but I don't know what it... rats don't cue whether they're going to attack or move, so I'm just going to stay where I am. Okay. So this one's probably going to move in on us. We could just do a normal attack, or we could use our ethereal feint. We'll use the ethereal feint to make sure he's dead. Let's move. So as I thought, he did cue an attack there. Move again. Okay, let's assume that he's going to move in front of us. Okay, might move away. I don't have the ethereal feint yet, though, so I'll attack just in case it's attacking. Okay. It's probably will move here. Boom, got him. And that's just through experience. I know how rats work, so I'm able to work that out. Okay, so we got 4 souls. We've been doing very well from a damage standpoint as far as the combats go. I haven't taken any damage in the combats. As a matter of fact, the only damage I took, I believe, was just from choosing the wrong choice. There, so we've defeated the giant rats. With every fatal blow, the rats do not fall down dead like normal creatures. Instead, they suddenly explode into a puff of dark smoke that settles on the ground as a fine dust. That looks like the brown dust I found on the box. I think there's strange magic at work. Okay, well, that's fine. Do we have the box still? We do. Alright. Let's examine the cage. Gah! You kill orc! Thank you, human! Alright, so it looks like a goblin. You see that a small goblin is standing upright in the cage with an arm outstretched pointing at the stinking corpse. If you free me, I'll help you, it whispers. This goblin was locked up for a reason. Maybe he was a thorn in the side of the clan. He could be useful. Alright, well, that's what the character says, so we'll follow what the character thinks. Free the goblin from the cage. The goblin hops down from the cage and immediately hugs your leg. You notice how skinny it is and realize the orc was probably starving the wretched creature. Thank you, human. Thank you. He scampers over to the rock wall and drags a small rock to the right, quickly snatching a small green bottle from the behind. Orc, drink. Makes you strong. The goblin hands you the bottle, and you realize this must be a potion of strength. Oh, we'll save that. We're not going to drink it now. Well, a goblin I can finally trust. Well, if it knows anything useful, ask the goblin where Zagor can be found. The goblin looks at you suspiciously and asks, Zagor, eh? Orber fellow, dat one. Runs the mountain. Yeah, we know. You press the creature for more information. Suits yourself, human. You can find the geezer way beyond the river, so I is told. Okay. Let the goblin go and head north. You have two options ahead of you. You can climb the wooden steps, or you can follow the stone path along the ledge. I can't see what this looks like, so I don't know a good decision here. I'm assuming this is the stone path, so we either go up or we go down. Let's continue to climb. Climb the wooden steps. I wonder if this would have been a dead end, though. Alright, well, it doesn't matter. You climb the wooden steps and reach a platform. To your left is yet another prisoner cage, which appears empty. Stone steps lead out in front of you, and you can see a wooden building cut into the rock ahead of you. In the darkness from ahead, you can hear the sounds of lots of tiny feet scurrying across rocks, accompanied by chattering voices. You quickly turn off your lantern. I'm starting to feel unwell again. This is terrible timing. Holy crap, our skill is plummeting. Alright, well that's a unique feature of this character, apparently, is that you have tremendous skill to start, but you get weak as you go. I'm not sure if we're going to ever recover from this, but okay. So we can continue up the stone steps, we can duck down in the shadows behind the cage, or we can turn back to the goblin hut to hide. Let's duck in the shadows behind the cage. Crouched down in the shadows, leaning on one of the wooden posts. Goblin shrieks and curses echo through the chamber as a large number of the small creatures pass you. Down below in the darkness, it sounds as though they are grabbing weapons and armor, and you suspect they must be some kind of armory down below. You wait some moments before getting back to your feet. Okay, so we can continue up the steps, or we can lean over the walkway to see if the goblins have gone. Alright, let's be cautious here. Leaning over the wooden post, you look downwards. If there are any goblins there, they are shrouded in darkness and being very quiet, which is quite unbecoming of goblins. There's the odd bang and clatter of metal, followed by hysteric shrieking somewhere far in the distance, and you can only assume they have moved on. Alright, let's investigate this armory then. So that was the other path. It might have been good that we went the way we did. Make your way down into what appears to be a now plundered armory. There's nothing else here of interest, and no goblins appear to be hiding, thankfully. Okay. Now this looks like it goes the same place, but you know what? We're going to return to the wooden steps, retrace our path. Again, it looks like they go the same place, but continue up the stone steps. Reaching the top of the steps, you can see a large goblin structure in front of you that has a dark, foreboding doorway. To your left, you can see a stone bridge that disappears into the darkness. And one thing I will point out is we haven't seen a resting bench in quite some time. Okay, so we can crawl into the goblin hut in front of us, or we can turn west and venture over the stone bridge. Well, this is the reason we came up here, because I figured we'd be missing something if we went the other way. So let's go ahead and crawl into the goblin hut. So more than likely what would have happened if I had gone toward the armory first, we probably would have fought those goblins, but we would have had maybe more loot. Crouch down, positioning yourself on your hands and knees. Crawl through the small opening. It's dark inside, but you seemingly fit. You curl up into a ball, and as you are suddenly overcome with a fever that has been plaguing you. Cough, hack, feels strange, burning up inside. Cough. Alright, light your lantern and look around the hut. Light up your lantern and take a look around the hut. Apart from some animal bones, it appears empty. Okay, let's crawl outside. You crawl back out of the hut's crude doorway. You gasp at the sight outside. Hello? Sinless blessing. Cough. It's not hack with me. Cough. A large party of goblins stand in front of you, armed with a variety of weapons, with devious glints in their eyes. They suddenly begin to chatter and shriek, excitedly ready for their kill. Cough. This is surely my end. What will you do now in this moment of crisis? Goblins surround you, blocking a stone bridge to the west and the stone steps you climb to the south. Okay, so we can make a run for it across the stone bridge, we can make a run for it back down the stone steps, or we can make a stand and fight. Well, I'm not sure how this is going to go, and you know what? This is a great point to go ahead and put a cut in the video. In any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Gunner signing out.